As we head into the second international break of this season, the table reflects just 7 weeks of gameplay. What is clear though, however, is that Sunderland are here to try and break the mould of the previous newly promoted team. The last 2 years straight, what's went up has also came straight back down, with, for example, Southampton only amassing 13 points in total across the whole season last year, barely laying a glove on the Premier League in the process. But something seems different this year at Sunderland. From the outside looking in, many are predicted us to follow the same suit as their predecessors, but we the fans know that there's something bubbling underneath the surface here, something that might just be bigger than what we've had for a long time here at the Stadium of Light. During the summer, we've seen Sunderland make a lot of noise in the transfer market, signing 15 new players, with Mark Keogh already making his way back to Chelsea. 14 new players is the exact amount that Regis had to work with heading into the new season. More than that though, Sunderland made several updates to the infrastructure and management team at the club. We've seen Florent Gisolfi come in from AS Roma to be the new sporting director, as well as a new assistant head coach, an assistant coach, goalkeeping coach and set piece coach join the squad. So it's improvements all round. In addition to the improvements made at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland were doing everything they could to be a Premier League club this time round. But along with a new and improved squad, it's this alignment from the top down, including head coach Regis Lebris, that's allowed Sunderland to amass 11 points already this season. Regis's first 15 months at Sunderland were nothing short of a whirlwind. From coming into his first season in the Championship, winning 4 games on the bounce, being nominated and winning Championship Manager of the Month for the first couple of months in his season, he then led Sunderland to being promoted to the Premier League for the first time in 8 whole years. Heading into his first season in the Premier League, he then goes and gets himself nominated for Manager of the Month for the first 2 months again. Not winning it this time, but I'd say it's a pretty impressive feat for someone's first time round in the Premier League. The holder of a doctorate in sports physiology and biomechanics from Rennes University, his degree focused on accelerometer based running and was a significant part of his early academic and coaching career. He followed this up by achieving a diplôme universitaire at the same university for the mental training of high performance athletes. The smart guy quickly became well loved on Wearside and said that he's happiest when sitting in front of a laptop analysing games or developing young players on the training field. It's no wonder why young talents like Chris Rigg have chosen to extend their contracts here on Wearside. I think it's clear with a lot of these young players that they're in safe hands under Regis Lebris. His man management has also been shown to be excellent in a short time on Wearside. If you think about it, so far he's already managed to take the youngest squad in the Championship all the way through a season right up until promotion, get them promoted to the Premier League, and then also manage the changing tides that are here at Sunderland. With 14 new players coming in, often it can be the case where the players that got you there in the first place can feel quite hard done by and feel put out by the club. But Regis's man management has ensured that every player coming into Sunderland this season knows that there's a place for them and they've all got a specific reason why they're in that squad, whether it be starters, finishers, ready to cover over AFCON. Regis has got it all covered, and his man management has meant that the team know exactly the place and are still ready to fight and work for him at every step of the way. He's taken all the pressure that Sunderland have given him in his stride and done it all with a smile on his face. I think it's clear from the interviews and stuff we've seen over the last couple of years with Regis that he's more than happy to point a joke at himself, and he's more than happy to understand when his team are doing good or bad. He takes everything in his stride and he shies away from nothing. He's got it all going up top, smart, clever, funny, and more than anything can deal with the pressure that comes with being the Sunderland man. It's this sort of mentality and belief in your own abilities that have gotten Sunderland to the Premier League in the first place. That sort of mentality is what's there from the top down with Sunderland. It's all aligned and in place, and the owners, management, coaching staff, and players all know exactly what this club is going to have coming its way in the next year. I don't think these core beliefs of working hard at every game and giving everything your all, no matter the opponent, not fearing anyone, just understanding your role and executing it. These haven't been forgotten over the summer amongst all these transfer windows. This hasn't been forgotten in the few months we've signed all these new players. Sunderland knew that they had a big job in their hands between the short few months of Wembley and kicking off for the first game in the Premier League. Bringing in 14 new players was never going to be easy, and we've seen from Sunderland in the last few years that youth has been the main priority when it came to the recruitment model. Picking out young players with massive potential, developing them at the Stadium of Light, and then going on to sell them for a fee is pretty much what got Sunderland here in the first place. And they never abandoned that coming into this season. When Sunderland looked at the youth when Sunderland looked at the transfer market, I think it's clear for most newly promoted clubs, if not all newly promoted clubs, that you're pretty much priced out of the pre-improving players. Whereas before, a newly promoted club could come up and maybe shop amongst their rivals. They could buy players from the lower half of the Premier League. That doesn't happen now. The players at newly promoted clubs have been able to accumulate, to have Premier League experience, or tend to be yo-yo players. And in the past, we've seen newly promoted players then go and turn to the best of what the Championship has to offer. But for me, these players, whether it be a yo-yo player who's spent time being relegated and promoted to the Premier League, or it's an EFL player who's spent their whole career looking up, oftentimes it's the case where these players have a bit of fear when it comes to playing the Premier League. They've spent so much time looking up to it, or in fact being relegated from it, that they shake it in at the thought of any opponent. They're scared of any opponent. Whereas when it came to Sunderland this year, understanding that Premier League experience was going to be hard to come by, they instead chose to shop at the top end of other leagues. Youth was still a priority, but Christian Speakman and Florent Gisolfi found a way to combine youth with value, and also a good blend between older experienced players coming in on low fees, if not free, and younger players with loads of potential coming in on a fee ready to be raised at the time in Sunderland. One theme that stayed strong, however, amongst all signings has been success. Many people came into this season not knowing too much about Sunderland's players and the new guys that they signed, but it only takes 5 minutes of research to find out that almost all of these players that have came into Sunderland this season are winners. Whether it be Noah Siddiqui and James Dean Talby, who have both played at the top of their game in the Belgian Pro League, both being Belgian Pro League winners, Belgian Cup winners, and having European competition experience. Or you move to Granit Xhaka, Sunderland's new captain, an undefeated champion in Germany, both for the DFB Pokal and the Bundesliga title. Of course, you can then go on to Nordi Mukiele, who spent time at PSG, the top of the French league, and of course time with Granit Xhaka at Leverkusen as well. We go to Spain in La Liga, where Ronaldo and Omar Alderete have both spent time at the top of the league, with Omar Alderete coming off of a La Liga Team of the season last year, and Ronaldo, an experienced Champions League veteran who's just hitting his stride at 31-year-old, coming on a free transfer. No matter where Sunderland have looked, they've managed to bring in top quality players at a reasonable fee, a fee that then Sunderland can go on to develop and potentially sell in the future. This type of success isn't only good on paper though. For these players to be coming into the Premier League, yes, they may have always looked up to it. They may have always looked up to the Premier League as the toughest, hardest league in the world, but they've also played at the top of the league. They understand pressure. They know what it's like to win, and they don't come into the Premier League fearing an instant relegation. They come into the Premier League relishing at the challenge of it. For most of these guys, it's a privilege to even be in the Premier League, and it's a privilege that they don't take for granted. They want to work hard for Sunderland, and they're not scared of the challenge that that brings. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think Sunderland have done the best they could in the transfer market. When you're priced out of the top dogs of the Premier League, then of course you're going to try and go for the top dogs in other leagues, and that's exactly what we've done. For me, coming into this season, you've got the perfect blend of players who are already there. And for many of the players that are already there, they're double promotion winners. They again are used to the pressure of trying to battle it out every single game, week in, week out. And then the players that have joined are also winners who have spent time winning cups, winning leagues, winning AFCON, and in Simon Odingra's example. And that for me is Sunderland's secret weapon this year. I think what we see at Sunderland this year is like no other. I think what we see at Sunderland this season is a hunger to doing well, no matter what the challenge is, but also a sense of humility and a humbleness to know that you are a newly promoted team and you're not here just to walk into games and pick up the wins. You've got to fight for them. It's a willingness to work hard before anything else, and a mentality and belief that anything's possible, especially after Sunderland's playoff campaign. The last minute winners, the beating the big dog in the first place in Sheffield United and getting to the Premier League. It's a belief that anything's possible and that they deserve to be there and competing. That's Sunderland's secret weapon this year. A coach who has the ability to not only make them believe that they can survive, but the tactical nous and the ability to show them how. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed this quick check-in, guys. Of course, just bring you this little thought whilst we're here on international break. For me, Sunderland's mentality and just the forward-driven nature and clear direction from the top down is what's going to help them survive this season. It's going to be a hard season, and I don't think the players and coaching staff doubt that for a second. No one is guaranteed to win the Premier League just because you've won in other leagues. However, I just think that mentality, that lack of fear, and the ability from reducing his coaching staff to show them how is exactly why Sunderland will be a Premier League club next season. Anyway, guys, that's been all from me. If you've enjoyed this video, as per usual, like, comment, subscribe. Check out the southstandclothing.com for all your Sunderland fanwear, hats, and merch. And I'll check you guys out in the next one. Away the lads. Come on.